long. But today, Vicki wants to tell you why this auction is special, different, and exciting. Here's Vicki. You want my breakfast?
Thank you, Ava. This is a hard act to follow. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to chair our dedicated auction team this year. This year we have so many new things to celebrate. Reverend Jay is new. We're about to start a new year. I'm new as the auction committee chair. Our auction has a new name: Celebrate, Indulge, and Let Loose. The auction format is new with silent and live auctions. But our enthusiasm is not new, it's just renewed. So save the date, Saturday, February 4th. Stay tuned for more details and get ready to indulge and let loose. Thank you all so much.
A couple of more quick notes, very quick. And by the way, for any of you who've ever asked me for an announcement and I say 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes, but they're very smart to have Ava ask me because there are perks to have been on my search committee. So, just to also let you know, the 22 Holiday Artisan Market is today in the Lexow Gallery. What else do we? Oh, get together dinner sign-ups is available in the courtyard, and Mothers Helping Mothers, Rosemary from Mothers Helping Mothers will also be at the social justice table. Also, today, I almost forgot, today is the first Sunday of the month. So if you are, can I get like a drum roll for that? Like, I'm so excited now about the drum roll thing. The first Sunday of the month, if you've been thinking about it, if you want to become a member of this church, you can come into my office at noon, which should be about probably 10 minutes after the service ends, because we're going to run 5 minutes late now. And we will have like a little speech and ceremony. You can sign the membership book in my office. So for those who are thinking about it, please consider that. We would love to have everyone become a member here. Okay, so our opening reading today, without further ado, by Sophia Lyon Foz, We Gather in Reverence. We gather in reverence before the wonder of life. The wonder of this moment, the wonder of being together, so close, yet so apart. Each hidden in our own secret chamber, each listening, each trying to speak, yet none fully understanding, none fully understood. We gather in reverence before all intangible things that eyes see not, that nor ears can detect, that hands can never touch, that space cannot hold, and time cannot measure. And so with that, we will light our chalice to help light that light within, to make us aware of all that is unknown and unknowable. And we invite Anna to join, and I invite you to join us in saying the words of affirmation, which are on the screen behind me. As we light this chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, we affirm our first source of wisdom which informs our living tradition, direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. And thank you, Anna, for lighting the chalice. And so now I invite us all to rise in body and or spirit for our opening hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry.
So, this month's theme of wonder reminded me of my daughter. As soon as she could talk, she was always asking questions and making observations. Why? What about? Where? How? So much so that I would at times lock myself in the bathroom for just a few minutes apiece before I turned into my mother, who frankly probably felt the same way I did and responded with exasperation, because I said so, or because it's just the way it is. Well, I find I'm much more patient with my grandchildren. It's amazing what grandparent will do for you. So today's story is dedicated to those who have ever asked or experienced answering the persistent wonder questions. I Wonder, with words by K.A. Holt and pictures by Kennard Pack. What if the sun is really a kite? Is cereal afraid of the spoon? I wonder if sandwiches get mad when you bite them. Is the ocean one big water bottle? Do tires get tired? I wonder if dragonflies dog paddle. Do bubbles tickle everything they touch? Is a fly a baby in the morning and then an old man at night? Does a grasshopper take hopping lessons? I wonder if cars and trucks speak the same language. Do windmills ever get tired? And where are all the unicorns? I wonder if boy ladybugs are called boy bugs. What do clouds taste like? Do my toys miss me when I'm gone? How does a clock know what time it is? I wonder if shoes feel sad when they don't fit me anymore. Could there be a galaxy in my belly button? I have to admit, I have thought about what's in my belly button. I wonder if books read us too. What do the stars do during the day? Is wind made or born? Do trees have dreams? I wonder if teddy bears ever cry. And why don't shadows smile when you smile? I wonder how tomorrow knows how to get here. I wonder why I wonder so much. Because you are wonderful. So you grown-ups out there, go reclaim your childhood wonder of the world. Pester your friends and your relatives with your wonderings. Remember the freedom of your childhood to just ask and ponder without caring what other people think. You need more asking and wondering and finding answers more than ever before. Thank you.
Okay, it's kind of low there. All right. Can you hear me all? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, cool. So today I'm going to be doing a reading on doubt by Teal Swan, and the piece is originally called Skepticism. So here we go. To doubt is to consider something unlikely. To consider something unlikely is to act as if you know. It is to pretend you know something that you do not understand. It is to bring a sense of certainty to a universe of uncertainty. For this reason, doubt in all actuality is the flip side of faith. Doubt is another kind of faith. It is faith in the negative instead of faith in the positive. Like the shadow side of faith, to consider something unlikely, doubt, is to act as if you know. People use doubt to gain a sense of certainty and cognitive closure in the same way that people use faith to gain a sense of certainty and cognitive closure. Faith goes hand in hand with belief. To have faith is to have positive confidence or trust in something. It is to think something is true even without proof. If you are a person who doubts, you have a great capacity for faith. The only difference between you and a person who is full of faith is that you have endless confidence and trust for negative instead of positive outcomes in things. We will now take a moment of silence to contemplate this.
Is from Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Something I had to memorize when I was in middle school, so will always be in my memory. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep. and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And we have promises to keep as well to sustain this church and Unitarian Universalism as we have miles to go before we reach our destination. So it is this week and every week that we ask you to be as generous as you can as we take our offering. For those online or here on your cell phone, there is a link how to donate in the YouTube video or on our website, and as well the baskets will start being passed. Let this sacred time begin.
Good morning. I'm going to read a poem by Mary Oliver called Mindful. Every day I see or I hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. O good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.
On Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound I was afraid I'd never hear. Well, you coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express! All aboard!
Claus. And then one year, our older son, Will, told us that his younger brother, Kyle, actually knew the truth about Santa, but was hiding his understanding from us because he thought we enjoyed the tradition so much. So anyway, one of our other traditions each year leading up to the holiday season is we sit around and we watch Christmas movies. And One of the movies that we watch is The Polar Express, which asks the question as to whether we should believe in things unseen and unknown. Now, the story centers on a boy that you saw in the picture, I'll call him Hero Boy, who is starting to question his belief in Santa Claus. And using his analytical skills, he starts looking for clues in atlases and magazines as to where the North Pole is located, and as well some proof as to the existence of Santa Claus. Well, whether or not in a dream, he takes a ride on that train called the Polar Express and befriends 3 other children along the way. Now, all 4 children have a lesson to learn, and maybe you will see yourselves in some of these lessons. As they journeyed on their train ride, the train inexplicably experienced many terrifying situations. Up and down hills without brakes, through mountain tunnels, sliding across ice, to the point that one could believe the purpose of the movie was to try to market a roller coaster for a future amusement park ride. Of course, that would be cynical of me to think that way, and would, of course, deny the message of the movie being about faith. But maybe I just lived in Orlando for too many years, where it's all about amusement parks. Let me tell you, that sounds great until you've been on It's a Small World 100 times, you know. So first, I found it strange that the head elf in this movie was speaking Yiddish with a New York accent. I mean, it's one thing in a pulpit, but Santa Claus? So sometimes it's good to have our perceptions disturbed. I think that is a good thing sometimes, but I never pictured that Christmas elves were Jewish. What can I say? Maybe they had nothing else to do Christmas Eve. I don't know. Also, I found the elves chanting while they were waiting for Santa Claus. They were going, Santa, Santa, Santa. I found it to be a little cultish for my taste personally. Although I was heartened that Santa did delegate the chore of determination of who's naughty and who is nice to the elves. So he was able to delegate that. Although I did think it was a little creepy that showing the elves spying on children's bedrooms on multiple TV sets, as you can see up above. Clearly, elves don't have to follow our Fourth Amendment rights of privacy. But our young doubting hero boy wanted to hear the sleigh bells ring and was unable to do so because he was in the midst of a large throng of elves cheering for Santa. And the hero boy realized that other children could hear the bells ringing, which led him to repeat, I believe, until he could hear the bell ring. I have to admit, this scene left me with the message that belief was formed by peer pressure, a belief coerced due to the benefits that it would give him. And don't even get me started on Santa using a whip to get the reindeers flying. In all the cartoons I saw growing up, Santa just had to talk to the reindeers and they went flying. But anyway, it's, I guess, a new age, I guess, of movies. And I know, you know, if you want to look, you can look on my blog. I love movies. I love dissecting movies. I have a blog, J-World. You can see all these quirky little movie reviews on it, among other things. But anyway, despite the previous concerns I just mentioned about the movie, I really found Santa's message and the train conductor's advice about belief shared with these 4 children are important messages for all of us to hear. One of the children is a know-it-all, someone who is cynical and always wants to point out how smart they are and is dismissive to others. One of the elves says to the child, actually, you're not even supposed to be here. But Santa's message to that young boy was that he needs to learn patience and, more important, humility. The train conductor punches the boy's train ticket with the word learn on it, which would seem an odd message to give to somebody who knows it all, right? But when given the ticket, right, the know-it-all boy has his finger over the R, so it looks like the ticket says lean. So know-it-all boy says sarcastically, lean? Whatever is that supposed to mean? And thus the message is, even if we are smart, even if we know more facts about something than others, we don't always have all the information, right? And there are still things in the universe that are unknown to us. Sometimes, like the boy, in our haste to prove ourselves right, to show how smart we are, is that we mistakenly blind ourselves to other wisdom or other people's circumstances or other types of wisdom. And we do not understand or care that what we say affects other people negatively. That doesn't mean we stop questioning. I want to be really clear about that. But it does mean we could be a bit more humble at times in the face of all that we don't know. We can and should be nicer, more compassionate, more open to sharing with others what we do know, right? And more open to hearing others' wisdom and experience and what they know. Now, the second child in the story is a young girl, clearly a natural leader, a decision maker with confidence. And the ticket that the conductor gives her is spelled L-E-A-D. And after seeing it, she says, lead? Like a lead balloon? And of course, what it says is lead, as in leadership. And so I think this homograph, and I know all you English teachers out there, including my wife, love that word, homograph. Two words spelled the same with different pronunciations and different meanings for those of us who are not English teachers. So I think the homograph points to a very important point about our worldview, right? We can be confident, decisive leaders, but if we have a negative worldview, similar to that reading on doubt, right? If we have a negative worldview, if we see the negative in everything, if we see lead instead of lead, how will that affect our decision making? Right? If our life experiences continually show us the lead in the world, right, that is what we come to expect. But we must transcend the lead that holds us down from imagining a new world and hope with a loving message to which we can lead others to. The third child is a boy named Billy. Now, interestingly, he is the only one of the four children that are actually given a name in the movie, a hero boy, leader girl, right? I just thought that was strange. Maybe all of us are to be seen in just these generic children here. I'm still thinking on that one, though. So if you have any ideas, let me know after service. The movie states clearly that he is from the other side of the tracks. And Billy states, Christmas doesn't work out for me. In fact, he would not have even been on the train if not for the help of the hero boy who stops the train to let Billy onto it. And Billy tries to isolate himself and doesn't even want to see Santa. But hero boy and leader girl encourage him, and they end up on an adventure together. And when Billy finally meets Santa, Santa reminds him that there is no greater gift than the gift of friendship. And I think there is no greater truth than that. I think Billy was kind of hoping for a PlayStation or an Xbox, actually. But I thought it interesting that the ticket the conductor gave Billy had the phrase, depend on. Right? We so often hear the word dependence in a negative way, right? We're led to believe that we are of less value if we can't do everything without the help of others. And I want to say here and now and forever, I I reject that concept. Being able to depend on others, being able to admit that we need help with something is an important step in our self-actualization. Nobody does it alone, right? From when we're infants, as we grow until we die, we all need nourishment. We all need encouragement. We all need opportunities. We need guidance. Our lives have become so fragmented that by the various demands and complexities of the world, that only by people helping each other can we find the wholeness in our life. Just knowing that there is someone you can depend on makes it easier to move forward and stay on track. Just knowing you have someone in your corner makes it easier to take a risk. Just knowing that there are others on the same path as you makes the journey easier to bear. And that is what we seek to do here week after week after week at this church as we continually come together on our spiritual and religious journey to explore with friends, some old, some new, but all of us having had that shared experience of being human together, sharing our joys and sorrows together, sharing our search for meaning together, not just dependent on each other, but interdependent with each other and stronger for those connections. And lastly, I want to talk about the doubting hero boy of the movie. Once he hears the bells ring, he asks Santa for a sleigh bell to take home, and Santa commends him on the choice of the gift. Santa tells him the bell is the spirit of Christmas, as is Santa, and that the true spirit of Christmas is in your heart. And so I ask you today, what is it that lies in your heart this holiday season? Is it love? Is love in your heart? Is there patience in your heart? Is there humility in your heart? Is there friendships in your heart? Do you feel the interdependence of life in your heart? Is your heart filled with wonder? I think we sometimes have these false dichotomies for ourselves sometimes that says if we question, we can't believe. We can't have wonder. And I think it depends on where our doubt leads us. As we experience life, are we trying to critique perceived inconsistencies with the goal of denigrating or with the goal of understanding? Right? Does doubt lead us to apathy? Or does it lead us to exploration? Does doubt lead us to cynicism? Or does it lead us to hopefulness? Right? That will lead us, if we do that, if we have hopefulness, if we have exploration, if we have understanding, that will lead us to a sense of wonder as to what is still yet possible. That will lead us to act to create something new. A wholeness for ourselves, for our family, for our entire community. Doubt by its nature, because we accept that we don't know, allows us to accept there are still mysteries uncovered or unknowable. And that, to me, is a hopeful message. As an example, I believe world peace is possible. I do. I have doubts as to how that will manifest. I do. I've never seen it happen in my lifetime or even in reading about history, really. But I can imagine it. And I have learned that at least if we act, or if I act with peace in my heart and with loving actions, right, at the very least, right, peace can happen for me or for any of us, right? And then people we are sharing our peace with, they will share and experience the presence of peace as well. And we will be at peace, and if we act at peace, to me, that is the spirit of the holiday season. It's when we can imagine ourselves as our best selves. And so I encourage you to live with wonder in your life every day. Not just one day or one season a year, but live with wonder for the most basic of things in the world. I tell you, the one time I went and visited the Grand Canyon, I could have thought about all the evolutionary and geological forces that made it come to be the way it was, or I could just stand there in awe of its beauty. And so I asked you, what is it that brings you wonder? Or what is it that could bring you wonder? You know, there's much suffering in the world. I know that so many with debilitating illnesses. There are those who have lost a child or could not have children. For those who've lost a loved one or have been hurt in a relationship. Where can you find wonder when you are suffering? And I think the conductor of the Polar Express said that the one thing about trains, it is not about where they are going, but rather the decision to get on the train, right? That, to me, is the important thing, right? The front of the train always has a bright light on it, shining its way in the darkness. And so I encourage you to get on that train, to move forward, and see where your heart will take you this coming year. See where you can find wonder in the world. Maybe it's as simple as watching the sunrise or the sunset, feeling the wind blow across your face, thinking about the hot warming of your body, particularly here in Florida in winter. Or even more importantly, think about how you can be the wonder for someone else in the world. How can you let your light shine to show someone else some wonder? And you may think, well, how can I be a light? I can't even get my own act together sometimes, right? But you can be the wonder. Just a simple smile. Just try it now. Just smile for a moment. It just makes you feel good inside sometimes. And it makes the other. But you know, when you meet somebody in the street and you smile at them, they will almost always smile back instinctively. Right? So let us be conscious in our words and our actions. Let us stop for a moment as our lives fill up with things to do. And although we have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep, we could take naps in between, I would say, at this time of year, I encourage us all to stop and take notice of those deep, dark woods within ourselves and notice their loveliness. Notice within your deep, dark woods, as in the earth, there are seeds, as seeds in a garden grow. That is where we nurture ourselves. Notice within those deep, dark woods within yourself, it provides a place of peace and deep thought. And notice within those deep, dark woods within yourself, you can find your true self. So remember to dwell in darkness and in light, to dwell in doubt and in wonder, and remember who you are and that you are loved. For all of us, may it be so. I now invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn in the Teal Hymnal 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Across the
filled with wonder. Let our hearts be open. Let our souls be deepened. Let us be filled with wonder by things small and large. In the child's smile, in the sunrise and sunset, in all the forms of nature, let us find wonder in our mere existence. And let us share our wonder. Let us share our compassion. Let us share our light. Let us share our love. And by loving others, we will know love. Please join me now in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all for your presence here today.